4, 3, 2. Tom's video's not up. Gosh darn it. That would have been a perfect. That was going to be great. And then it just decided to not be the face it was supposed to be. Alright. Major Tom. There we go. Mm-hmm.
It really bothers me that Max Landis wrote this.
Why does it disturb you?
Hmm.
What did you say? Upset or disturb you?
Oh, it got 76 tomatoes. I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's typically not 76 is okay. It's not bad.
The audience score was 31%.
Oh. What service is it on right now?
I believe you may be able to find this on Amazon.
Amazon? So Tom, we might have a nickname for you.
It's not Major?
No, I think it should be Major. I know we even talked. We had the conversation like 2 episodes into this thing, and then we never came back around to it. But Jerry last night was just spitballing, or not last night, but Monday night he was spitballing as he's closing out the show, and he was like, "Yeah, and then you can catch Commander Shipp and Major Tom over," and he was like,
"Oh boy."
I'm like, "Huh? What do you even?" I'm like, "That makes too much sense." He's like, "I'm surprised you all didn't think of it." And I'm like,
"No, because you're the commander, and I'm Colonel Tom."
Colonel Tom.
Yes.
Colonel Tom. But the song, Tom.
I know. I'm wearing a robe. I know these things.
Okay. What if it's like modern Major General? The joke could be like Major Tom, parentheses.
Major General Tom? But then I can't outrank you.
Commander is just a title, technically.
It's an honorarium?
Well, that's not. Well, sorry. Commander can be a rank, but can also be a title. So it's like designating that you are the commander of this thing, but your rank might be different. You know, so you could be. Technically, there can be a captain who's a commander of a. Depends on the size of the thing. So it's not unheard of. Heck, we could even rename the show. Be like Commander Shipp and Major Tom. Weekdays at 8 p.m. Central.
6 p.m. Eastern or Western or Pacific.
I was about to say.
Or specific.
Specific. Okay, so you watched. Hold on, let's do a proper intro. Hello, folks.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to the Commander Shipp Show. You're talking to Kenneth, Commander Shipp, with Tom, Major DeGrow. That doesn't work, does it? You gotta put the major. Before.
Tom Major DeGrow.
Tom Major. It's a Major DeGrow. What would a Major DeGrow be?
What would a minor DeGrow be?
Wait, I was like, DeGrow. No, like Ursa Minor, Ursa like. So
yeah.
Switch it around like that, like DeGrow Major, DeGrow Minor, DeGrow Major. We're having too much fun with nicknames, folks. If you like that nickname, I've had Commander Shipp since college, and a number of other nicknames, which we're not going to get into in the scope of this show.
Darn.
Oh, darn. We'll save that for another time. Tom, you kept so many secrets from me. You know, I guess I have to hold some close to my chest. And,
it's not a matter of keeping secrets. It's a matter of they just haven't come up yet.
You know what? That's fair. Because
there's
no way.
I was going
to say, there's no way the conversation we ever had. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, unless you want to pull a Kelly Jenkins and tell me that I'm lying by omission.
No, I was going to say, you know what? Something that I had not thought about, though, is that the subject Like how would that have ever just come up?
Yes.
Unless, so I know everyone's like, what the hell are they talking about? It's for us to know and you to probably never find out.
Inside jokes.
Inside jokes. All right. We don't have a ton going. Well, I mean, there are some good news segments. And we are going to talk. Netflix had a big. We're not going to go for all 27 movies just because. No, I don't think all of them are necessarily that interesting. I mean, but we could talk strategy for Netflix, what this means for them going into the year. And there's a couple that caught my eye, like the Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder going back to the Night of the Living Dead franchise, doing another movie there. So we can talk some stuff there and a few other like HBO stuff. But there wasn't a ton coming out, and I suspect that'll probably start to warm up here. Probably towards the end of the month, getting into February, because there's some things are supposed to be scheduled, and it'd be a matter of like, are you going to actually stick to the? Excuse me. But it'd be a matter of, are you going to actually stick to that? Are you going to actually stick to that date? So, and we also know the world is a little crazy right now. I don't think we have to tell you what's going on or why.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if there's people that are holding off on some of these announcements just so it doesn't get, buried in a news cycle.
Yes, we keep on losing out airtime to these minty peaches. Whoever wanted to mix mint and peach?
I could just it wasn't in my soda, but I could taste it. You ruined my Dr. Pepper. You ruined good ice cold Dr. Pepper here. How dare you? Folks, we are not sponsored. Okay, just reminding you of that.
We are sponsored by RC Cola, though.
Really, that's who you pick?
Yes, why not?
Mountain Dew Code Red. Okay, would be my.
Oh, come on!
Gotta get hyped up on my Mountain Dew.
RC Cola is that's what you got when you ordered a pizza in Chicago. If you ordered a large pizza in Chicago, you got yourself a 2-liter of RC Cola for free.
Okay. All right. Maybe there's a nostalgia factor there that I'm not aware of.
There is a legacy of RC Cola in Chicago, and actually most of the Midwest area.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
Yeah, there was a burrito place that got too bougie because they ditched their RC contract for a Coca-Cola one and lost their Green River, which made everybody upset.
Lost their Green River?
Yeah, there's a cola called, or it's not a cola, but there's a drink called Green River, which it has the most artificial taste you'll ever consume, possibly. But every once in a while, it hits the spot.
Okay. All right.
And it's distributed by RC Cola. The things you learn on the Commander Shipp show.
You'll probably also learn how much I do not care for the Fast and the Furious franchise. And that's definitely something you should put if you're going to take notes about what's going on. And if you do like the Fast and the Furious franchise, we're not gonna spend all night trashing it. We're just gonna get you some things that have happened recently. But if you like it, love it, let us know in the comments. We were talking offline about Helen Mirren in Red. Tom didn't know that she had been in the most recent, 9 is what's coming up. She was in Fast and Furious 8, which is the one that just came out 2 years ago.
And to clarify, Tom didn't notice means Tom didn't watch Fast and Furious to notice.
I would much rather watch Bad Boys. Yeah. But we've also talked about that Bad Boys, the most recent Bad Boys was a lot better. Oh gosh, there you go. There's the question. Would I rather watch? You know what? Dang it. Okay. I'd rather watch Bad Boys 3 than probably most of the Fast and Furious movies, with the exception of the first one. And I really like Tokyo Drift. I know people are like, "Oh, it's not like the rest of them," but I'm okay. I'm actually okay with it because it's works at this young adult level after school racing, and you know, in a town town. I know it's in Japan, but it's like it's you know, it kind of plays off like this after school car racing special, which somehow works. But yeah, I'd rather watch Bad Boys 3, then Fast and Furious somewhere in there, and then Bad Boys 2, because Bad Boys 2 is just that. It's a mean. It's like Roger Ebert said. It's a mean movie, and everyone that's involved with it needs to apologize to the world for what they've done, for what they've created. Cool. All right, how does that actually get us to Fast and the Furious? Well, Vin Diesel confirmed today that Helen Mirren is not just dropping in to make an appearance; she'll actually be driving in this next installment coming out this year, or again was supposed to come out last year. Which again, if we mentioned Red, because at least if you've seen her in Red, she was quite the badass. A bit of a badass. Yeah.
Yep.
So I can see, like, all right, I may not like the franchise, but I can sign off on that. I would have felt better about it if it hadn't come with this next piece of news, though. Vin Diesel, as you know, is the voice of Groot, which has got to be one of the easiest paychecks since Hans Zimmer made the same movie score twice. Ergo, Lion King, he just did this. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll talk about that another time. So because Infinity War and Endgame was basically two movies, split up across Infinity War and Endgame, it inspired him to do Fast and the Furious 10 and 11. I was hoping the ninth one was going to be the end of it. But no, they had
to do 10 and 11 because they promised us a scene filmed on the ISS. Or ISS.
They're really trying to beat Tom Cruise in space. That's what it is.
Yep.
And I will not have that. Okay?
Wait, you want to just give space to Tom Cruise? You know how dangerous that is?
The flat earthers don't believe it exists, so what does it matter? They think it's all CGI generated anyway, so I could tell them Tom Cruise owns space. I'm like, of course. They're like, of course he does. So, sorry if I just pissed off all of our listeners that were. Yeah, but that would be it.
Yep.
All of our listeners were flat earthers.
Your Satan levels are too high.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I guess. But hey, here's the good news. We know that it's ending. Yes, it's going to be like another 2 years before it ends, but it's ending.
Is it going to end? It's $1 billion franchise.
Well, yeah, if you count all 9 movies or all 8 movies so far.
No, you don't have to count all of them. That's the problem. Once The Rock came in, the value skyrocketed from being hovering around $300 million to like getting to like 7 and 8, and then the Paul Walker one on 7 is when it shot up to $1 billion close to $1 billion by itself. So that's all I'm saying. Like they
why didn't that work for G.I. Joe?
Oh man, that last was it Retaliation?
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's not that bad.
Not that bad.
I know I had to say it like that.
Roger Ebert says, not that bad.
No, just like it's as trash as that movie could be, and they're like definitely coming off this like Transformers Michael Bay blueprint. It has no business being as good as it is. There's definitely still some nonsense that happens in it, but that movie decides to settle down a little bit versus Rise of Cobra, the first one, where it's just like, we're going to put you in powered suits because we don't think anyone could believe you all running around doing half this stuff. And I'm like, and I have to give Fast and the Furious credit this way. Look at the Fast and the Furious franchise. He was able to successfully dodge a missile with a car and have it hit a sub with no superhuman abilities whatsoever. So if that can work, then no, you're good. It's like you're good.
So I take that back. Is that Fast and Furious 8?
Yeah, it is 8.
Okay. So if I happen to watch Fast and the Furious 8, that might be the worst movie I've seen this year, besides Cloud, Shadow in the Cloud.
Oh man, come on, Tom.
Oh. Yep.
You had one job to do.
Which was enjoy it.
That's right.
There aren't enough edibles in the world for me to enjoy that one.
Likely story.
But hey, we're continuing on with our conversations of abominations.
That is true. Actually, I guess I should have moved the Snyder Cut conversation. Yeah, but we'll move that up to. So, if you don't know, I hate retconning stuff after the fact. So, this character actually was doing this the entire time. Like, if you couldn't write it into the script, you
don't deserve it.
Exactly. And to be fair, if there was like a deleted scene that just didn't make it into the film, so like in your head you're like, yes, this is a real thing, we just had to cut this for time, but we'll put it back in somewhere. That's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, because at least it shows you at least had the intentionality to do it. It just something didn't work. But like when you literally have had like it wasn't in the script later, So as much as I love Harry Lennox, he plays the general in Man of Steel. I think he switches to a State Department role or something in Batman v Superman. But it's been confirmed for a while that he's secretly been Martian Manhunter the entire time, which you go back and look at scenes and it still doesn't. Again, I know the League wasn't a thing yet, but some of his actions wouldn't make sense. So yeah, it's kind of I'm glad for Harry Lennox. I think he actually played that role pretty well. But
yep.
What do you think, Tom?
Oh, just this is almost up there with Jar Jar being a Sith.
I mean, yeah, it's in that ballpark. It's funny, but it's not like you can't take it seriously.
No, absolutely not. And I just, I mean, it's, I guess, our job to watch this when it comes out. I guess I will.
Well, we got like another month.
Yeah.
I think about a month and a half.
Maybe, yeah.
It's coming up.
Yep. So, hey, I'm happy for Harry Lennox to get work as well.
Yeah. And what his role will be in the film, we're not exactly sure, because he wasn't in the last movie. So I don't know if that means he's gonna like actually bust out in full Manhunter garb and attire, or is it just literally just a quick shape shift in the movie that'll be like the nerd kind of like, oh look, there's the thing.
Yeah, like I have a half of feeling that they're gonna replace the Flash Superman end credit scene with a Martian Manhunter scene or something like that, because that's the other thing. Like, how do you fit this in? Okay, so you got,
Well, they got 4 hours, so I'm sure.
Well, but like, okay, you've got the second or third heaviest hitter in the DC hero pantheon, and he doesn't help out trying to prevent the end of the world. Like, I'm gonna be curious to see how Snyder doesn't pull this off.
What if he was like, oh, I didn't know. And it's like, with your clearance, you didn't know something was going on. You didn't.
Yeah.
No, bullshit.
You can read damn minds. Stop with that.
Oh, there goes another problem. There goes another problem. Because that means some of his conversations with Lois. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. If he doesn't trust Superman in Man of Steel, that actually could still work. Because like even if he reads his mind, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna know. Like, but Lois, who legitimately is like, I've investigated this, isn't it? Like, that actually makes zero sense. And they've been in the same room multiple times, just in Man of Steel, before we ever get to Batman v Superman. Yeah, that makes That makes wow, way to go, guys. I'm sure it'll come up with some real crap reason to make it fit. But
he was traumatized during his transport from Mars, and didn't realize what he was.
So he thought he was.
He thought he was legitimately human.
Oh gosh.
I'm just throwing that out there.
That works. I just don't like it.
It seems low enough for Snyder to pick.
Whatever the good option is, he's not gonna pick that one. So it's gonna be what's something a little worse than what you thought would be the good option. That's it. Yeah, that's what Snyder will pick. If y'all think we're picking on him, just deal with it because we're gonna save the other. Yeah, we'll save the other one for just a second.
Okay.
I do want to jump on this. So if you know Jack Quaid from The Boys, he's only been acting a little bit. He hasn't been acting that long. So, some of his earlier roles are in movies such as The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in The Hunger Games. Might have killed someone at a particular moment that was quite impactful for many of you. And over the weekend on Freeform, there was a Hunger Games marathon, and people that have been watching The Boys recently have now put two and two together that he plays the guy that kills Rue and ends up being Katniss's or Jennifer Lawrence's first kill in the show. So yep. I appreciated his Twitter response as people were like making this connection, and Fred started on the internet. He was like, to quote, he said, "Oh shit, that's right. Sorry." I didn't follow it up with in all fairness, I met my demise very quickly afterwards. I was brainwashed by a luxurious District 1 upbringing. But yes, incredibly sorry.
Like, this is up there with Jason Sudeikis punching Grogu.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. It's like it's in that. It's like, you're a monster. It's like, it's the role I was playing. We don't care.
No, you chose this role. I'm giving you a Scarlet M for monster because.
Yo, he was a young actor. It was Hollywood crazy at that time.
Thankfully it wasn't Giancarlo Esposito that did it, because his Twitter response would be like, "Yes, it was me, and I'd do it again." Twice.
Which he has said. He's told his children that.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I love that he's so much the villain. Out. I mean, not actually, like, to be clear, folks, not in any kind of evil or malicious way. But I love that he has fun inhabiting that even outside of his role. He's like, I don't care. Yes. Like Tom said, I'd do it again.
Yep. Though I actually do want to see him play like a loving, doting father. Actually, what I want to see is a film where him and Michael Shannon are gay fathers lovingly raising a child together.
Oh my gosh.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, I've been rewatching Boardwalk Empire, and I just Michael Shannon is just such a lovable and cuddly person in that entire show.
Yeah, that's a way to describe it. That's not there. Sorry, just the vision of that. I'm like, I almost feel like you need like a feint in it though, like maybe the neighbors don't trust them, and there's actually nothing there. Like they're actually just legitimately sweet and like, but maybe it's like Timothy Dalton and not Get Out. Sorry, what am I thinking of? Hot Fuzz.
Oh yes,
like, yes, he is legitimately part of the community, like nonsense. But the way he is, his verbose and the way he just delivers lines as he's around other people is like.
Yes, I am the slasher of prices.
Oh heck, if it was like a British dark comedy, oh my gosh, that'd be perfect.
Because like both of them could play their like cold evil selves but then just like, oh man, that could be hilarious.
Yeah.
But yes, I do want to see both of them in some type of like feel good family rom com.
It'd be so good. Plus, it'd be unsettling. A good unsettling. I'd be like, oh no.
Oh, we could write in a scene where like one of the kids, like the youngest, is like a toddler, and it gets like covered in green paint, and Giancarlo picks it up in this, beigeish towel and cuddles and.
That'd be a great Easter egg.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Oh.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, Jack, I forgive you. You got killed pretty quick afterwards.
Yeah.
And I blame the writers for making Rue die to push the plot forward.
It was in the book.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of that, one piece of news that you don't have in here, which I'd like to bring up, is
go right on it.
There are two quick things. One is Zendaya hasn't signed up for a lot of films in 2020, not because of COVID, but because she's rejecting every movie where she plays a role where all she does is help a male do better in the story.
Yeah.
So good for her on that, because she does deserve her own opportunities to shine. The other one is that there is a new samurai movie coming out. And in this samurai movie, it features a 77-minute single-take action sequence.
Yeah, we saw the note on that on Monday, and I was trying to have down. And actually, let me back up to Zendaya. Yeah. So, and to be clear, like, this is making sure that she's an equal co-star. So it's not saying like couldn't be in a relationship or anything like that, because she's got like a new one coming out with called Malcolm and
Marie.
Malcolm and Marie. So like, and obviously it's in the Netflix drop, but yeah, if she's literally just there as like an accessory, eye candy to some degree, those are the ones that she was torpedoing left and right. So the thing I was trying to figure out on the samurai movie, I highly doubt it was shot in one continuous take. So I'll be curious, like when we get to watch it, like where are the hidden cuts in it to make it the continuous take?
It's going to be 1917, but yeah. And also I'm excited because hopefully this means that to an American audience, we're going to see a legit film about Miyamoto Musashi, who is epically famous samurai from the 15th and 16th centuries, or 16th and 17th centuries.
I'm down for it, Tom.
Yep, this is like Ip Man movies for me.
Oh gosh. Sorry, that's actually not a knock on Ip Man per se. It's just the weirdness that happens at the end of the movie. Like the first one where they're like, and we won World War II. I'm like,
yes,
like,
through Wing Chun.
I mean, that's about as crazy as Americans saying we won World War II. But y'all not ready for that conversation. Okay.
Nationalism is a thing, everybody.
Yeah. Speaking of national disgrace, it hasn't been impeached twice. HBO is working on their compensation model. You know, the model you probably should have figured out before you announced that you're going to move all the movies to streaming. You know, so that's, and the recent things that have come out still didn't give a clear answer on what that model's going to look like. So, I hate to even use it just as another dig or pile on HBO. I'll let M. Night Shyamalan do that here in just a second. But it's also a shame that, like, you really don't want this stuff to continue coming out. because it's like you'd rather it come out with, and we have the model that we're going to use to do it. If you continue to have stuff come out like, yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, it's January 13th, and we're gonna have some of the first movies that you announced coming out here pretty soon. So like that's a problem. Like that is a legit issue. And again, it goes back to the legal piece on like when people are confused, like why is this a big deal? Because they have contracts to get these movies into theaters and like the release windows, and they trampled over all of that. So I won't keep beating that dead horse, and I'll get to M. Night's comment here, and we'll talk just a little bit Snyder stuff before we get to Netflix. But yeah, this is just a continued bad look, and I wish I could say I was surprised, but Warner Brothers has given me no reason to be, hasn't given me any confidence in them.
Yep, it's actually kind of interesting how HBO is working through its. They seem to be having trouble, like with them ditching the exclusive contract for. Oh no, I forgot his name is escaping me right now. But the writer of Ma Rainey's plays, so they had exclusive.
All right, August Wilson. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. They had exclusive filmmaking rights for all of his plays, and then they gave it up, and to Netflix. So.
And it sounds like Netflix is interested in expanding it out more because Ma Rainey was so successful. So you might get more of those, more of those to screen, which is good. It's good. And hey, at least production-wise, that doesn't cost them a whole lot. I mean,
no.
even Ma Rainey, it's still like one or two. Shoot, was it even at? Probably 3 locations. And again, one was still the majority of it anyway. So you had like the tent shot, you had a hotel shot where they were where Ma Rainey was coming from, and then the rest was inside the either inside the studio or on the outside the street. So yeah, I could see I could see why Netflix would be tempted on like production, like actual locale costs and production costs. So we'll really be just paying our stars, and the crew. Like, okay, I get it.
Yep.
Cool. And then M. Night's comment is just talking about the corporate nature, the corporate issues at hand, of how much that's driving the. And again, we could pick this out too. It's like, yeah, HBO wants to make money. It's like we get that. And HBO Max, while it kind of had some good, it was slinging a little bit there to start out. I have to admit, like it was. What they had starting out was impressive, and they still got some great content on there. But subscriptions have definitely slowed down. So at least from that perspective, I get why they needed to really hit on this. This is what M. Night gets to talking about. It's just like it is very much a desperate corporate move on their part. But again, it kind of goes back to the there might have been a way forward to do this, and you just did not research that out enough. You've really put yourself in a pretty bad spot. So he's just one in a line of other directors that have been coming out, on top of this.
Yep.
The one thing I'll say it's a little icky or complicated, and we'll get to that maybe a little bit when we talk to Netflix things is because Shyamalan's had a series on Apple TV, a horror series called Servant. So it's kind of again, I know Apple, Disney Plus, Netflix haven't come out and done this. Well, I guess technically we're about to say that for Netflix. So well, actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'll hold that comment for a second, and I'll bring back him, Matt Shyamalan. Seriously, folks, it'll make sense here in just a second. But basically, I was going to talk about him calling out HBO's it's got a little twinge of hypocrisy, just a tad. So we'll talk about that in a second. Just a bit. All right. Tony Gonclaves. Gonclaves. He's the HBO Max boss. And I know it's like, gosh, quit talking about HBO Max. This is a different thing. If you don't remember, me and Tom, and not DC fanboys, this might be an overlap, but specifically Snyder Cut fanboys, it's a whole different breed into themselves. We did not get along very well in the lead up to the Snyder Cut. We have said multiple times that we did not think the thing existed or was not in the state that they claimed it to be, and everything that's come out since then has really confirmed what we talked about. You know, it's like, yeah, he's making another movie, effectively, but don't say that he had it sitting on a shelf, because that was a bald-faced lie. And on top of that, like, Snyder fans are just on the Warner Brothers Twitter and on YouTube all over the place, just like demanding for us over and over and over again. And so there's been a little bit of push industry criticism for Warner Brothers giving in to eventually making it. And so this is where Tony Gunclapes comes in and says, like, nah, I feel like this could be a positive experience between us and the fan base to get them something that they really desire. And again, it remains to be seen. This could be a really cool thing. I'm not against fan bases, you know, putting what they want out there. Obviously, we've seen some places where that's been toxic. We can point to Star Wars franchise, and recently some issues there. Or I guess I don't want to say some issues there. It's been a lot of issues the last 3 to 4 years, as far as like what the fans want versus what the company wants. So, so yeah, this can be good, but I think people are criticizing the fact that it could. Oh, sorry. I guess Tom, let me make a distinction. I don't know about Snyder Cut. I don't know if that's going to be good. So I think you and me both think it's going to be terrible. What I'm saying can be good is fans getting to be vocal and exerting some pressures on the company. Like, I think that can be a good thing, but I also think the criticism that it could turn ugly is also accurate.
I think that what we need to look for as fans is early input as opposed to after the fact input. You know, like this. Okay, one of the reasons why I don't like this is because neither of the Snyders ever took criticism seriously. From, you know, even when they were filming Justice League, and they got raked over the coals with BVS. And I remember the interview where they flew a guy out who ripped them apart. And they flew him out, which, to their credit, to see the filming of Justice League and to watch them film a couple of scenes. And there was this one moment where the Snyders together basically said, yeah, it seems like comic book fans don't like their superheroes deconstructed, or something as it seemed so tone deaf. So I have zero faith that the Snyders are going to pay attention and really listen to what people want out of Superman. It's going to come back again with, oh, we should give them more jokes. And maybe, you know, make Superman a little nicer or something along those lines.
That wasn't the problem.
Nope.
Like, if you want to deconstruct, you need to understand what you're deconstructing. And I think it's very clear that they did not. Because I will defend BVS in this way. I think I think the questions they had, particularly when you think about the newscasts that were happening in between the middle of the movie about Superman's role, I think those are really good questions. I think those are fantastic questions. But you as the filmmaker have to be interested in answering it or putting the audience in a position to answer it for themselves. And the movie does not care to do that. It wants to tease us. It wants to be like, look what we're doing with this hero you've loved for 70 plus years. It's like, okay, but you know, do you have anything else to say about it? You know, like, kind of goes back to the biggest one for Man of Steel that everyone jumps on as far as like killing Zod. That could have been a great catalyst, but you didn't do anything with it. You know, like, what if that had been the one kill that makes him decide that's not, you know, if he's actually lamenting and lamenting of that choice. But again, you weren't interested in doing that.
I legit defended that choice when it first came out. Of all the things, that was the least bothersome for me about Superman or Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I was actually more bothered with Pa Kent saying, "Yeah, let your friends die," or other things like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and you know, to that point too. But again, it goes to the the Pa Kent one. We're gonna relitigate Man of Steel again. Stop it! Stop. I guess I'll say real quickly. You know, knowing that Red Sun exists, and it's showing that like his upbringing is such an important part of how Clark becomes who he becomes. So now we've seen different and it's not just Red Sun, but we've seen different examples of what happens when he's in different environments, and as far as growing up, even if it's in a dream or you know whatever it might be. I'm like, so yeah, I'm not surprised we got this version of Clark Kent from that Pa Kent. That's not and I'm not even trying to hate on not Randy Quaid, Kevin Costner. It's like, I'm not even trying to hate on his performance. I think he would have been I think he has some good moments. I think he has some really good like when he tells him you got to decide who you want to be. That's a great father son moment. It's just undermined from the other moments. Give me more of that and less of the maybe you ought to. And I know he doesn't try to say it like that. He's more like it's like Clark, I don't know. I really don't know. You know, dang it! Dang, let's not get started. Tom.
Yes.
Because I'll get you going, and then I'll just keep fanning coals onto the fire to let you go.
I'm trying to distract myself. Let you finish your thought so that I can just ignore it and move on.
Yeah. So suffice it to say, I still lean more towards I want fans to be able to voice themselves in a way that is positive and creates change of the companies, because I do think they need to be held accountable when they overstep a line or have misrepresented a character terribly. I do want that to happen, but that has to come with fans who have to act responsible, right? And if we can go to, like, if I just pick Star Wars and just pick Last Jedi, there's tons of things that happened after that movie came out that we should be ashamed of. And I'll just say we, but I'm not saying like I did it, but I'm just saying like as a fan base, we should be ashamed of that we're allowed to go on and we just don't talk about it.
Yeah. Hashtag not all nerds. Yeah, actually, the other thing that I wanted to point out was, like, Hollywood if there's something that has so much subject matter about it, you need to be a bit better about the directors that you choose. Like, one of the things that gave me confidence when Iron Man was first announced was how Jon Favreau said he was deathly afraid of screwing it up for the fans. And that type of respect for the material isn't there with at least the Snyder films. Snyder doesn't respect the material. He thinks he can make it cooler.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that for now.
Now, if he had been allowed to do not Spider-Man, I would like, if I could go back in time, and unfortunately this would have to mean that the Nolan movies don't exist, because the only way this would work, because there's no way Snyder's going to get a Batman movie when the Nolan movies just wrapped up, you know, so it's like, that's just not going to happen. It's like, why would we give it, like, no. But in a universe where those hadn't happened, and Batman and Robin is the only one you've had, and we haven't gotten a new, you know, we had Superman Returns, but they're like, yeah, well, let's go to a staple. Let's go to, we know Batman's been working, like, let's try to fix that first.
Mm-hmm.
I could see a warehouse Batman that we got from BVS, and Snyder doing a good job of that. That maybe still has some issues, but tonally and thematically probably is a little bit closer, like, works a lot better. And again, I'm not saying his Batman vision would be 100%, but I think he would probably I think his thoughts on Batman are a lot more understandable than his thoughts on Superman. I think he's just diametrically not the right person to film a Superman movie. But he could probably do a Batman. Probably could have done a Batman.
Yeah, and I mean that. Yes, because very clearly Snyder is a Frank Miller fanboy, not a comic book fanboy.
And if that's what you are, it's fine. So that means you could make one, and you maybe could coach that character through the different team ups and stuff. But yeah, that doesn't mean you need to be be given the reins of the franchise. Let's give that to Jeff Johns or Bruce Timm, which are still producing to some degree, but I'm not seeing the impact of it. That's a conversation for another day. That really is another.
Yes.
Like I don't. Yeah. Oof. Yeah. I'm not quite getting that one. All right.
Please let us move on
to the big news of the day, and where we get to some interesting issues. Netflix dropped 27 movies. Now, not 27 that you can go watch right now, but they announced 27 movies that are going to have release this year.
Yes. So, just to be clear, they're dropping like an album, not dropping off of the service.
And apparently a lot of these are going to be coming out like once a week. So you'd almost be like a movie of the week kind of feel. And, we're not going to be able to go through all of them. I'd recommend you look up. We'll talk about some of the ones that stood out to us, but and again, check those links out and look at those. There was a big video that came out, kind of giving little snippets and scenes from all of them, but it wasn't like a trailer for all 27, because again, that would have been quite a bit. Now, like Army of the Dead, which we know is coming for a little bit. Did get we'd already been announced, but we finally got to see the trailer for that. And aside from the Snyder cut, that's what Zack Snyder had been mostly working on was Army of the Dead. So we get a good view of that. We get a little bit more on Anthony Mackie's Outside the Wire, where he's some kind of human robot super soldier. But we'd already been kind of seeing commercials and trailers for that. And that one definitely. Here's a good way to describe it. Army of the Dead, I would have to admit, still feels like a Hollywood shot movie. And I'm not trying to say all Netflix movies look the same. That's definitely not true. But Army of the Dead, I can still I can see a director's eye behind that. Outside the Wire feels like a Netflix level movie. It really does. And it's not a knock on Anthony Mackie. I like him. I liked him in Altered Carbon. Like him as Falcon. When I'm looking at the promos and shots for this movie, I'm just not impressed. I'm like, again, Netflix has done a better job on some movies. So this is just a little one that kind of like this, and this leads off the list of 27, and I'm just kind of like, I don't care. I don't care. And to be honest, a lot of these are just kind of really wait and see. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, it does seem like it's not. I mean, some of them do have some decent stars: Anthony Mackie, Chris Hemsworth, the other wrestler.
Was it Batista?
Yes, thank you. The not the Rock wrestler.
Yeah, because Batista's going to be in Army of the Dead. And then the Malcolm and Marie movie we were talking about with John David Washington and Zendaya will be there. Let's see. There was one other. We are getting the third entry to All the Boys I've Loved. So this will be the third one in that little rom-com. Or this is the this is the last one in that little trilogy of movies. There's
Escape from Spiderhead seems kind of interesting. What is missing from this, though, that it seems, except for maybe, here we go, O2. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of sci-fi, which is actually a departure from Netflix, I think. Mm-hmm. I think they've often defaulted to sci-fi. And what's also interesting is, they got a lot of Marvel people
They sure did.
Like I don't know how that works, but like Jason Momoa or no, Jason's not in Marvel. What is wrong with me?
Well, but they got some big. The names like you got an Andrew Garfield in a musical directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, Octavia Spencer and Melissa McCarthy, and like this buddy cop. Effectively, it's not a buddy cop, but it's effectively a buddy cop superhero movie. They're best friends that are heroes together. Let's see what else is going on. Amy Adams is playing an agoraphobic character who spies on her neighbors in New York City.
Hold on.
We're getting
Jean-Claude Van Damme is a former Secret Service agent. Sorry.
I mean, it could be good. But,
it could be.
Or sorry, it could be a good decent action flick.
Yeah.
And we're getting a Western with Jonathan Majors from Lovecraft Country. And actually, let me back up. There's quite a few people's names I missed in this. I apologize. Idris Elba, my man, my main man. Regina King,
right.
Zazie Beetz, Deadpool 2. Wait, what? Tom, you've been holding out on me with that shirt.
Oh wait, no, it gets better. It gets better as I disrobe because I wear robes now. Diversify your bonds.
I need that shirt. Oh, I have to have that shirt. I have to have that shirt. Even if I don't wear it, I might just frame it. Oh my gosh. Diversify your bonds. The only thing that would have been better if he could have been also looked somehow like his character from The Wire. So it almost seemed like he was giving folks a lesson. Was it Stryker? No, not Stryker. Stacker Pentecost is his name.
Yes.
Which is a terrible. That is a mouthful of a name in Pacific Rim. I forget what his name is in The Wire. It's been a while since I watched it. Sorry.
Yep.
Distracted from this Western, The Harder They Fall, and Idris Elba, Regina King from The Watchmen. She's been on a tear lately. Zazie Beetz was recently in The Joker, and then played Domino in Deadpool 2. And Lakeith Stanfield, Sorry to Bother You. Man, gosh, yes. Okay, I'll take it back. I'm a little more excited about some of these. Dwayne Johnson stars as an Interpol agent who tracks an art thief. Isn't that Fast and Furious 4? Wait, is that the person he showed up in, or was it 5? Whatever. I can't keep track of numbers anymore. And the same guy that directed Skyscraper. Oh. Wait, hold it. Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot are also in that one.
In which one?
This Red Notice. Red Notice has got Dwayne Johnson playing an Interpol agent, tracking an art thief. It doesn't tell me who's the art thief, but I assume it's got to be Gadot or Reynolds.
Oh.
Okay.
I glazed over that one for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Aside from that, a lot of them just kind of look.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
exist.
so they may be amazing. Some of these, like you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible they're more like the Old Guard or Extraction, or
which we can hope for.
She can hope.
I think it's a legitimate hope, but there's nearly 30 movies, so not all of them are going to be gems.
Not all are going to be gems. The other thing that's happening is Netflix is going to be pushing hard to buy some movies to go on. Excuse me. Movies that would have released in theaters or are going to simul release in theaters. They're going to be pushing hard to buy some of those and be played on Netflix as well. So along with this 27 movie slate, there could be some things that were going to be summer blockbusters showing up on showing up on Netflix. Now, again, we already know the Warner Brothers ones won't be included with that, so it's not like they're going to get King Kong versus Godzilla or anything like, properties like that. Matrix 4 and Dune aren't going to show up on Netflix.
Nope.
But it's not crazy to think. And again, MCU ones will probably also be off the table because you have Disney Plus. So at first thought, I'm like, okay, that could be cool. But then when you start to just narrow things out by studio, there's not a lot left. Like maybe they could get Bond, but Bond keeps getting pushed back. So I'll take another look at the good old calendar, but I don't know what Netflix could really reasonably get that would be a blockbuster. I'm not saying they couldn't get more movies, but they're probably going to be like kind of B tier dramas, maybe some obscure sci-fi. To which Tom was already saying, like, it's kind of weird that they didn't have a lot. I mean, I don't remember seeing one. There was like a
2 was one of those in the 27 that they mentioned, unless you're talking about. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, this is honestly, we talk about 2020 being, a rough season for films. I think 2021 is going to be even an even drier season because now we don't have, we've got 8 months of no production going on, over the summer due to COVID. So a lot of movies that would have been greenlit or were greenlit have been on hold. So it's going to be a rough year.
And we had this feeling that this is going to come at some point. I just think the thing that kind of surprises was still how much stuff came out last year. So again, we know the movies that got held back, but it's just like, there's still shows and things that are coming out left and right. And you're like, oh, I guess maybe they'd had a good enough buffer. And now it seems like we're starting to really see, and starting to see that in the TV space as well. Just like things are starting to like, Picard, for example, supposed to already be filming. Now won't film until February. And it kind of makes you think, is that going to get out this year? Is it going to get out later this year? Discovery just wrapped up, so we know they won't be filming for a bit, which means they would have been prime time probably during the summer, late fall, and get that ready to go out in the fall. But, Picard came out this last May to June timeframe. I'd be surprised if they still hit that, along with the other Trek shows that are supposed to be coming out, like Strange New World, which is the new Commander Pike series. I don't know what's going on with Section 31 and probably another season of Lower Decks, So that's just that, and that's just CBS. That's just talking about the Star Trek franchise. We haven't got to anywhere else yet. So, Tom, I think you're pretty on the money there. Like it's hopefully it's not a big bubble, but it's just be naive to say that it doesn't exist or it's not there. Yeah.
Yep, we can only hope for more animated stuff.
Woo! Woo! Let's see. If you like Kevin Hart, actually, I take that back. You know what I would have liked with this announcement more? Have you seen Central Intelligence?
I saw the first quarter of it, I think.
Yeah, so Kevin Hart, Dwayne Johnson.
Yep.
The Rock. I like those two together. Like, even though the whole movie's not necessarily the funniest thing, but I just really like them two together. It is a modern Rush Hour, Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker kind of pairing. I'd say it's even more just a physical comedy they're both able to pull off with one another. It's just fantastic. So if this announcement had been Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson have signed up for 4 comedy movies with Netflix, I would have been like, yeah. Just being Kevin Hart, though, it's a little hit or miss. Just because if you watch his Hollywood movies, it's also been hit or miss. So him guest starring or something, I'd like that. So if he pops up somewhere, in a movie. But yeah, his own solo outings have been kind of hit or miss.
Yes, and it seems like that Kevin Hart deal was topped or opened with a comedy deal or stand-up deal. He did a special, was released I think last month or maybe November, and he did it in his house.
I hope it's better than that last concert he gave. That I was extremely disappointed. He was talking about things that normal people couldn't relate to. It was very Kanye-esque. Where his last couple albums are very much. I'm not talking about in the weird ways of Kanye, but just more of like Kanye. It was like detached from issues that you
reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that last one he did, it's like, no, I'm not saying you shouldn't be proud of your success. Like, cool, enjoy your success, like, great. But that doesn't necessarily make for good comedy material. I don't necessarily want to sit here and listen to you do that for an hour. Like, that's just...
So that's actually pretty astute, because in this comedy special, he talks about him competing with Jerry Seinfeld over a pizza oven, a wood-burning pizza oven, and how like Jerry Seinfeld apparently had a wood-burning pizza oven, and now he had to have one for his next party, so that he could say everybody's getting pizzas, and yeah, so not always he's not in touch with the people anymore.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. But I wish you all the luck, Kevin. And if you pull something off, I'll probably watch it. I feel like you and me should have a whole comedy episode one day.
Stand up or movies?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, we need to break those down, because we need to do boob comedies. We need to do like Mel Brooks style. I would love to do a breakdown of. Is it the Zemeckis brothers who did Airplane and Kentucky Fried Movie and Top Secret?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, parody. You're kind of getting into some parody movies.
Yeah.
Because Airplane's kind of spoofing, like, it's kind of a combination of spoofing, like, in the Towering Inferno. Kind of get into those, like, it's kind of
those 70s
disasters a little bit.
Yeah.
When a plane has an issue in mid.
But actually, it's one thing that I noticed over the past, like, I can't remember the last time there was just a wacky comedy that was out. That was, irreverent, wacky and dumb, and just kind of lighthearted fun poking, as opposed to like...
the closest... But it still doesn't quite hit what you're saying. So I understand where you're coming from when you say that.
Yeah.
I would say the closest in my head is Date Night. No, it's not Date Night. No. Well, actually, sorry. I brought up two different things. Because Date Night is Carell and Tina Fey. Game Night with Bateman and Rachel McAdams, I think, is just hilarious slapstick nonsense. But yeah, it's still not... It's not that type. It's not the type of zany that you're. It's not the zany you're talking about. So like, yeah, as soon as you said it and that popped in my head, I'm like, that's not it. It's in that direction.
Yeah,
but it's not.
Yeah, surely you don't mean that those movies are as funny as Airplane. Yes, I do, and don't call me Shirley.
I just want you to know they're all counting on you. After
hospital.
You've already landed the plane.
He's now in the hospital.
Hi, Jack.
Hospital? What is it? It's a big building where a lot of sick people go.
Gosh, I need to watch it right now. Oh, just like, what did you do tonight? It's like, well, we did the podcast, and then I got distracted afterwards and started watching Airplane. Oh man, the jive conversation. Oh,
no.
That's
no good kid, no help.
That's gonna be another. Oh god, if we do comedy, it's gonna be an awkward part though. Like, what holds up?
That scene would hold up less if they didn't have June Cleaver be the person that knows jive.
But that's the other thing too. Like, is that reference gonna hit? You and me are big TV and movie nerds, so like we get why that's got like an extra. But does it still work if you don't know that? Is it just funny that it's an older white woman that's like?
Yes, I think that's probably where the value is today. Whereas people won't recognize her as June Cleaver, but just having this sweet old lady start talking in jive.
So I think that's the thing. It's like, does it add added impact, or is that the only way that the joke works? Because if it's the only way it works, then I think we'll find issues. But if it's like, again, it adds, okay, all right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes, and now I'm also thinking about like the two kids that are like adults.
I forgot the entire. Just having these different grown ass conversations throughout the entire thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna watch that right after this. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
And then I recommend you follow it up with Kentucky Fried Movie.
Kentucky Fried Movie. Oh, yes. So the M. Night Shyamalan comment I wanted to make.
Oh yeah.
Is he's not wrong as far as like the pylon and all the other directors that have come in and said the way Warner Brothers did this is wrong. But these directors are also getting money from these streaming companies to make these movies. So at some point, I think you got to at least have I'm not saying you're necessarily complicit in what's happening as far as like the industry's not tanking. It's just a matter of can we save movie theaters? Like Hollywood's not going anywhere. It's a matter of like the method in which people get to watch it. So I think there does need to be a future conversation, and we can kind of start to close on this. And it doesn't mean me and Tom can come back another time and talk on this. But the thing I want to get in people's heads is: are directors and the executive producers responsible also for this trend towards it? When you jump back and forth and make a movie on Netflix, or you make a movie on Apple TV, you make one on Disney Plus, and you make one on Hulu and HBO Max. And again, this is not I want you to get your money. I want you to get your paper. When there's a new up and coming actor that's trying to get those you do you, boo boo. I got it. But then when you get to a situation like this, and theaters are struggling, and now this cachet of starting to be stronger and stronger catalogs of movies on streaming, like that's. I'm not saying again. I don't want to say it's a problem, but it's something we got to talk about. We can't just brush it under the. It's like, hey, you did more movies on streaming than you had in actual physical release the last couple of years. Did you realize that's what you did?
Yep.
And what about the next crop of directors that are going straight to streaming? That's another.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that have never shot a Hollywood or like a quote unquote Hollywood movie. Like that exists.
Some of them might have already taken a shot at one of those 27 movies.
Yeah. So that's Again, I don't want to really start that right now because we'll be here for like that's a whole another topic in itself. But when I hear M. Night say that, and now I just see everyone piling on, it's like, hey, I get it. HBO, like they screwed up, but you can't like wash your hands completely of it, So, all right, yeah. Well, me and Tom will discuss. Me and the Major, the Colonel, Commodore.
Ooh, yes.
Actually, you know what? Could we just like do a different rank every? That'd be the stick.
Sure. I'm also happy with Grand Admiral too.
Granddad Admiral?
No, I stuttered. Grand Admiral.
Gotcha.
Grand Admiral Tom.
Voice
like Thrawn. Tom.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Voice Admiral Grand Moff. Oh yeah. Oh gosh, we can even get some fictional ranks in here. Oh yes, I like it. Oh, Jerry, thank you. This is a gift that keeps on giving. And after a while, Tom's just going to be like, just pick one. Just pick one, damn it. Stick to something. Cool. Yeah, that's all we got, folks. So we won't belabor anymore. I know we did actually have a really good chat last week. It just came in the middle of trying to finish our scoring for Birds of Prey. So I hope you all got to enjoy the edited ones that came out. So you got to actually get to the, enjoy those in portions and clips. For the live viewing audience, they're definitely like, did y'all remember? Okay. Cool. Any last thoughts, Tom?
Not in what we discussed. A lot of other thoughts.
You excited for WandaVision this Friday?
I am. I'm very curious to see how this is going to go. Like, I've had a hard time imagining what it's going to be like. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think you and a lot of folks, and myself included, like I just don't. That is I will say that's a little refreshing though. I haven't really had something recently that just like I don't know what like Mandalorian. At least you kind of had, we knew some of the castings and we generally knew he was going to have to complete this task. Cool. WandaVision just have I don't get it. Nothing has helped. So can just kind of walk in and it's going to be whatever it is, So yeah, I agree with you. And that would be my recommendation for what to watch because I am done with Star Trek. Sorry, I don't mean it like that.
Yep.
Star Trek Discovery is over.
That's one thing we can have a quick chat about. Is the end of Discovery, which I forgot to take screenshots of our argument about the Inferno.
And okay. Let me just say real quickly. I've said it multiple times on the show that I was worried that they were going to do too much, and I was very glad that while the finale because this is basically over 3 episodes, like the last two together, really like the action packed, like running together finale, but it's basically over 3 episodes. I'm glad I was wrong, not just about the season, but specifically even as the season went on and on, it was like, oh man, this is good. But are you going to stick the landing? And specifically when I say stick the landing, it's like, are you going to try to wrap everything up in this finale? Or are there going to at least still be some things that, are going to have to be resolved? And they we get the cause of the burn, which is a little weird, but it's not, it's not a thing that I'm really like, oh, that's terrible. It's just kind of like, okay. It's like, okay, that's how the burn happened. All right, fine. The gang, or essentially the syndicate that they're going against, the entire. I will say, I think that threat can still be picked up next season. So I don't think it's necessarily. I know they made a comment of like the syndicate started to dissolve. I think that can still be picked up. So I don't think that necessarily has to mean what it meant at the end of like, oh yeah, we beat them. It's like. Okay, maybe that's just a nice bow at the end of the season. And people are in some interesting spots. I'll say Stamets, for example. I don't think he's happy. I know he's got his family back together, his surrogate family back together, but he did not look happy to see Burnham at the end of that.
He wouldn't be because like she basically put his ability to save his husband and his new child at risk.
I mean,
let him hold a grudge for a minute.
No. I get it. What I'm saying is, but I'm glad that there's threads going into next season.
Yes.
So like, while yes, the burn is like resolved to a degree, and the Emerald Chain is kind of like defeated for a moment. I'm like, but okay, we got threads. One member joined back in the Federation, possibly some other ones. So they didn't have everybody rushing back into the Federation. That's still gonna be. So I'm like, okay, we got this nice little snapshot of what you've done from beginning to the end, and there's gonna be stuff you still have to work on when you come back in next season. Cool, got it. And that's what I wanted. I did not want to come to the end of this episode and see like 80 planets all of a sudden ready to sign up for the Federation, because then I would have been like, what bullshit, where the hell how did that happen? So cool. And I'll rest my case to Major Tom.
So I loved the tone of the very end of it. I felt like, oh, maybe they're actually going to start taking Trek seriously in season 4. So like I kind of like that, where it's not necessarily strange new worlds, but building new relationships is going to be the focus of season 4. That said, there were some choices that they made which really confused the hell out of me. Like, why did they need to eject the core to get out? When they eject the core...
Yeah, I mean, I like the callback, but...
Yeah. The other thing was, and we'll probably fight to this till the end of our days, but the scaling that they use of the internal workings of Discovery just ripped me out of the story. Because like, if you look at the visuals of the turbocharts, it is a cavernous open area that is almost as big as the ship itself. And to that point, when they ejected the warp core, if you look at a warp core is supposed to be like a 2-story tall thing, right? And if you look at Discovery is like maybe 8 stories, 10 stories tall, and definitely not 8 stories tall in the drive section. And they eject the warp core, and the warp core is like literally banging against the edges of the tube that it's ejecting out of for like a good 40 seconds. Like, it was a 100-foot drop out of that thing. And also, warp cores probably shouldn't be banging around if they're about to breach.
Oh, it's fine.
Man, there were a couple of things where it's just like, wow, these guys just don't respect the ship.
Oh, stop it. Okay.
Yep,
so
I'm gonna keep going.
All right. So okay, number 1, and we talked about this offline, is that the camera shot, because I don't know, no offense to Ellen, I love Trek, but I don't think they've ever been consistent on that. And if TOS could have had bigger shots like that, I think they would have done it and then look back and be like, oh shit, we shouldn't have done that. They just didn't have the capability to do it. But it's definitely happened in TNG, and it's definitely happened in the TNG movies, and it's definitely happened in the Abrams movies.
Definitely, definitely happened in the Abrams
maybe
movies.
Voyager and Enterprise are the only ones where it hasn't happened at.
I don't think it happens as much as you think. In like, one of the big things about TNG was they designed the ship. They wrote a technical manual about the ship before they started the show.
Okay, cool.
So,
I mean, I'm not just cool. That doesn't mean the shots that happen in the show still don't make fucking sense. I mean, a lot of these sci-fi productions have set Bibles, and they still screw these things up. It's like, wait, why is that?
Do you have a glaring instance in mind with TNG?
Not in the show off the top of my head. Well, actually, there is probably one core shot that of the warp core that's a little off. The one that immediately comes to mind, though, is just the Riker fight with the Viceroy and Nemesis, because they're definitely in a spot that's massive, and that is not just a Jeffries tube. It's like, where is this? Where is this? Because when the Viceroy falls, it's not like, oh, and I fell down a story. He's yelling, and we don't see him hit. So he's definitely in some massive space. And if it was just a shaft, it'd be one thing. Like maybe if that was the turbolift shaft comparing that to Discovery, like if that was just the one, it'd be one thing. But it's definitely like because they're shooting at each other along the railing, and then he falls over that. So it's like, what? So again, I guess what I'm saying is I agree with you that it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I guess it doesn't have the same effect to me because I'm like, they people don't get this right. People just never get this right. I'd even say like as much as I love Battlestar, and as much as the CIC makes sense being in the middle of the ship and protected, there's other things size wise that like half the time when you're in the hangar bay, I can't make sense of how they get around and inside when they land a ship and when it gets into the ship and gets shot back out. Like it doesn't. Your understanding of space in that area just doesn't.
That one I understand. What I don't understand is how they moved from one pod to the other within the ship.
Yeah,
that's yeah. But I just looked at the Riker fights Viceroy, and that doesn't seem nearly as egregious as the fall from the turbo lift in this last episode of
Tom, maybe this is crazy. Maybe the story is just bigger than we think it is.
Are you saying it's a TARDIS?
I'm not saying it's a TARDIS. I refuse to say that. Because then
I'd
have this. Ugh, don't get me started on Doctor Who. Maybe I should go back and rewatch it and see if I'm just like that wasn't paying as much attention. I've been drinking so much the past 2 weeks. It's also possible.
I mean, I would recommend checking out that turbo lift scene, and specifically like when you watch the bad guy fall like 6 stories from the turbo lift, going horizontally into something.
Yeah, I almost felt like it was the underbelly. I felt like it was almost the underbelly of the ship, and right along with the. I was like, if you're thinking like the bicycle triangle that connects to your steering wheel, like so it's like to the saucer section and to the like nacelle section. I felt like it was like in where Discovery's kind of got that flatbed, flatbed piece before you go up. I felt like if anything was probably happening in there before you get to
the drive section or the saucer section.
Not the drive section, but it's in the drive section, but before you get to their hangar bay. Like, so where more of your engineering pieces would be at. But, okay. All right. I'll go look back. It's a legit concern, Tom. I'm not trying to, even when you were saying it, I wasn't trying to belittle it. I was just like, my brain is just like, I don't know.
Yep. But hey, I look forward to a good, exciting dilithium mining episode in season 4. Ooh, almost made Kenneth spit his drink out there.
Spew.
Yeah, the only other thing I've been watching reruns, old shows. Binge watching the 4400, which.
Oh man.
It still is a solid sci-fi. Like, I really do like. I mean, it is painfully early 2000s, but it is. I think it's one of the more thoughtful ones from that time.
Is it Marshall Ali in there?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a
a big break.
Early role for him.
Yep.
Yeah,
and also. It has a bunch of people. Like if you're somebody who's been big into sci-fi for the last 20 years, this show is filmed in Vancouver, like every one of our favorite shows is, and he reuses a lot of people. Oh, that's the dude from Stargate Atlantis. Oh, that person's been in every other Battlestar or other things like that, and it's. The one that cracked me up was the guy who played Kavanaugh from Stargate Atlantis. who was the ponytail scientist that everybody hated, he plays somebody that everybody hates in the 4400 as well. Like, good on you, Kavanaugh. Good on you.
Do you remember if that show actually got to conclude, or did it get left in
4400? I'll find out. I can't remember.
All right.
So I might be really pissed next week.
Speaking of TV, you should watch. We just wrapped up the Caprica rewatch of our group, so we are done with Battlestar for a bit. We've watched all the movies and everything's done. So we are going to take a 1 week break. We're going to do a short show to kind of I guess not cleanse the palate. But yeah, just before we pick something, before we go into something that's got multiple seasons, we're going to do something short. So we have not done Firefly on the site, and that's what we want to do. So in 2 weeks, so that'd be on January 26th. That'd be the first time that we'll watch it. Or sorry, we don't watch them together. You watch them on your own time whenever you have time. And then each Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, we get together to talk about that week's episode or episodes that we watched together. Again, since it's a small set, this probably will take a month at the most. Probably do maybe two a week, and just knock them out that way. Again, you are welcome to binge them, watch them however you want, just however your schedule works out. But as far as when we set up to talk to them, we'll space that out. But yeah, we're gonna do Firefly, and you can also be looking out on the Facebook page and on our Discord. So if you really want to watch something else, or after that, if you're like, I want to do Stargate Universe, I want to do Stargate Atlantis, or I want to do Travelers, or trying to think, we got a little list. We got a little list growing. So be curious to see what people put on it. Some people have already said Fringe. We put some comedies on there, like The Good Place or Community. So yeah, but we'd love for you to join that group. It's free. I mean, we'd love for you to support the Patreon, but it also is just free to join it. And if you don't have access to some of these shows, talk to us in the Discord. And that's all I will say on that part. Just talk to us in the Discord. And okay. Yeah, but yeah, Firefly will start in 2 weeks. That's on the 26th. Feel free to join our group. We do little video voice chats. And we have a nice talkative group that talks back and forth about stuff all the time, even outside of that. So we'd love to have you join us. Cool. I think that's it, Tom. Right?
I think that's it.
Cool.
Let's let it be it.
Let's let it be it. Let's not drag it out any longer. Put the horse out to pasture. Or as Deadpool said, he's going to spend Deadpool free trying to figure out who killed Bambi's mom. I don't get what Ryan Reynolds was trying to say with that, except other than, I guess he's Disney now, so he wanted to do something meaningful. I mean, yeah, that's also one Reynolds lovingly taking the piss out of everybody. Mm-hmm. All right, folks. Until next time, we will see ya.